If you are a team looking for firepower out wide, the transfer portal has plenty of options. And in this video, we are diving in to what I think and a lot of people think are the top 5 options at the wide receiver position and some honorable mentions at the end. So let's go ahead and dive into the top 5 transfer portal options as far as wide receivers. Now, let me state this. If you're a Kentucky fan, you might just want to click off this video right now because it's going to be tough to watch. Number 5, Barion Brown, University of Kentucky. Barion Brown was a 4-star recruit coming out of high school. He was the number 3 player in the state of Tennessee, and he was the number 9th wide receiver in the nation. It was a big get for Kentucky to be able to get Barion Brown, and he had a great freshman season. He earned the Freshman All-SEC award in his freshman season. He also set an SEC record with 5 kickoff returning touchdowns in his 3 seasons with Kentucky. No one's ever done that before. But for whatever reason, it just didn't work out this year. Kentucky had a down year, and Barion Brown's numbers resulted from it. Barion just had 29 receptions for 361 yards and 5 total touchdowns. This has led to him putting his name in the transfer portal, and he's going to be a big one. A lot of teams are going to be looking out for him. Me personally, I would think just watch out for a team like Ole Miss. But he's not the only Kentucky Wildcat on this list. But let's go ahead and not get ahead of ourselves, and let's move on to number 4. That is wide receiver Micah Hudson for the University of Texas Tech Red Raiders. Some of you might not know Micah Hudson because he really hasn't done anything yet as a college football player, but he had a lot going for him coming out of high school. Micah Hudson was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school, and he was the number 5 wide receiver in the country. He was rated as the 4th best player coming out of Texas altogether, and he's rated as a 4-star transfer recruit now. Of course, he had a lot of offers, but it was always coming down to Texas, Texas A&M, and Texas Tech, and he shocked a lot of people when he decided to go to Texas Tech. So, huge win for the Texas Tech Red Raiders being able to pick off this 5-star recruit, but they never got him going his freshman year this past season. The former 25th overall best prospect only tallied 8 receptions for like 120 yards. Just so underwhelming, and who knows what's the cause from this. Is he going to be one of those 5-star recruits that just never pans out? Or is it the system with Texas Tech and they couldn't never get on the right track? Regardless, Micah Hudson still has the potential to be a great college football player, and you're going to see a lot of teams go after Micah Hudson. I would expect, wouldn't be shocked if you see him going to a Texas A&M or a University of Texas, but we'll have to wait and see. Coming in at number 3 for the top 5 wide receivers on the transfer portal is number 10 wide receiver at the University of North Carolina State, Concepcion. This is a massive loss for an NC State, and he's going to be one of the biggest names out there on the board for wide receivers to go on. Honestly, 24/7 Sports has him as number 3 on their list. I think he could very well be the number 1 wide receiver out there for teams to go snag. Now, he's not a big receiver, but he's more of that slot scat back type of receiver, 5'10", 5'11", for about 190 pounds. But the guy can make plays, and I understand it wasn't as good this past season, but you got to look at that freshman year that he was able to perform with. His freshman year, he had 71 catches for almost 900 yards, and he had 10 total touchdowns, and just the expectations just skyrocketed for him. This past season, 53 catches for 463 yards, I believe, and he had 6 total touchdowns. Still not bad, but you don't want to go down in the wrong direction. Maybe this has something to do with him putting in his name in the transfer portal. Maybe he's not liking the way he's being used. I don't know everything. I'm not the biggest. I haven't watched all the NC State games, of course, but you've seen him. You know, when you hear NC State, you hear KC, and what if this guy goes to an Ole Miss? What if this guy goes to an Oregon? I personally do not like the Tennessee Volunteers. I would not want to see this guy playing in orange for Tennessee Vols. He is one of the best wide receivers in the transfer portal right now, and a lot of teams are going to be going for him. Guys, so far, if you're liking this video, if you're getting value, hit that subscribe button, join the team. That way you don't miss more football news like this and film breakdowns going forward. Number 2, wide receiver Nick Anderson from the University of Oklahoma. And if you don't know him, it's because, he got hurt at the start of this year and was not able to play at all. And Nick Anderson was really not a hot commodity coming out of high school. Was just a 3-star recruit, but he's now a 4-star transfer recruit, all stemming from his great freshman season that he had 2 years ago. At 6'4", over 200 pounds, he is a big receiver that can go and attack the football, and in the right system might just explode. His freshman season for Oklahoma, he had 800 yards receiving, 10 touchdowns. Now get this number, just off 38 catches. He was a big play waiting to happen, and he made the most of every opportunity he had. Of course, coming off of an injury is a scary situation, and we don't know what type of player Nick Anderson is going to be coming out of it. But when you put up those type of numbers your freshman year, you've got an opportunity to be one of these players that teams are going to say, we've got him, get him healthy, get him in our system, and we're going to be able to roll with it. So Nick Anderson does come in at one of the top recruits. Me personally, I would still take KC over Nick Anderson, maybe someone like a Barion Brown as well. But Anderson's got something that the other guys don't, and it's that big frame of being 6'4", over 220-something pounds. It's a big target for a quarterback that I'm sure any quarterback would like to see walk through that door. Coming in at the number 1 wide receiver top prospect, according to 24/7 Sports, sorry, Kentucky Wildcats fans, it's another wide receiver from Kentucky, and it's Dane Key. Now, I'm going to be honest. I kind of disagree with this one as far as 24/7 Sports is concerned. I do think he's one of the top prospects. I don't know if he's number 1. I think Micah Hudson, it has a little bit more upside. I think Casey has more upside. Now, I don't want to start harping on Key here. Like, Key is a really good, solid wide receiver, and in the right offense, you could probably see him explode. Dane Key for Kentucky has been Mr. Reliable every single year. His freshman year, he had 37 catches for 519 yards and 6 touchdowns. His sophomore year, 42 catches for 646 yards and 6 touchdowns. And then this past season, he had 47 catches for 715 yards and only 2 touchdowns. So the touchdowns went down, but his yards and his receptions went up. I do think Dane Key could be a really good receiver somewhere, and someone's going to get a great talent, and it might take his game to the next level. But when I think about the number 1 receiver, Anderson from Oklahoma, that big body, could he be even better? But I like KC, and I like Micah Hudson just as far as sheer upside. Now, a couple of other really good receivers out there on the market. Wide receiver C.J. Daniels from LSU. You've got Eric Rivers from FIU. Kobe Prentice from University of Alabama. And also Jonte Cook, the second from University of Texas. Still a lot of other great guys out there, but plenty of options for teams who want more speed out on the perimeter. It's going to be interesting to see how these guys shake up, where they go, where they land. Let me know what you guys think about these guys, where you want them to land going forward. As always, hit that like button, subscribe to the Coach Plays. Until next time, stay humble, stay kind, peace.